Hello, hello, my beautiful friends. It's Body Breathe Awareness, Regulate Self with Compassionate Care, Workshop 8. And this is January 2026. So happy New Year. I'm going to start off tonight with a reading from an excerpt of Peaceful Living by Mary McKenzie. Daily meditations for living with love, healing, and compassion. So I'm going to flip it open to January 12th, which is today's date. And let's just see what today's daily meditation might focus on. Begins with a quote by Melody Beatty. Sometimes a slight difference in where we stand can dramatically change how we see things. Wow, before I even get into the reading, how many of us on this call understand the value of changing perspective? Many of us in the motion picture industry understand that we see a piece of a moment in time from many different angles. And we can start off with creating a one big wide shot that's our master. And then we move in, move in, move in, move in until we're in that extreme close up. And we're used to seeing things from different perspectives at our work. So, what happens when we're in our life and how a shift in perspective can shift an entire trajectory of a day, of a conversation, a moment in time? I really like that quote. Okay. Enemy images. Do you harbor negative thoughts about others? Do these negative feelings affect your ability to enjoy these relationships or communicate effectively? When you foster resentment or anger toward other people, your focus is on your perceptions of the other person's foibles. Your ability to compassionately connect to them is severely limited. True healing comes when you acknowledge your unmet needs. You can achieve deeper compassion when you also acknowledge the needs that the other person is trying to meet with their behaviors. When you do this, you have a greater tendency to step out of judgment, which fosters resentment and anger, and move into understanding, which fosters compassion and connection. Be aware of the enemy images you harbor toward other people and begin the process of translating these images to bring relief to you. Whew. Okay. Wow. Yes, we've spoken many on the brain science of the action um, that can come from a thought. Our thoughts lead to our emotions, how we feel about something, that then lead to us acting based on how we feel about something. And it begins with a thought, a word, a story. It might be a story we're repeating to ourselves. The story might change the characters might change in the story, but the story remains the same. It's so important to begin um, making ourselves aware of how we're speaking, how we're framing situations. But mostly for me in my process, it has been what I start with myself. What am I saying? What am I saying in regards to a situation or a job or a person? Um, what are my thoughts about myself in that situation? Writing these thoughts down as I go along and reframing them uh, to make it seem as if I have a possible other outcome. I may actually shift the outcome of the thought or choice I'm making based on redirecting that thought into something new and exciting and potentially uncomfortable, and yet it might clear up some confusion. It might help us connect in clarity. So I love beginning with that. So, and with that said, I am going to share my screen. Okay. Let's bring up the slideshow. The slideshow. So for me, when I began to understand I needed an action plan, these books I was reading really helped me along to have some education where I needed education. And truth be told, I much prefer to have a plan in play, to have action steps, and to have a framework for the work that I was learning. Okay, that's great, but what is the action plan? How do I actually approach a situation that I feel I might not be well equipped for? I'm out of my element. It's a new experience. As we know, our brains are data collectors. If we have not had that experience, we have no previous data uh, to re- to retrieve from in our Rolodex of life experiences. And so it's new and it's unknown and it's not familiar. And we might feel unhinged stepping forward into something that we're starting new on. So for me, when I learned that to redirect um, my attention to my heart versus always counting on my brain to know what to do in these unknown situations, centering into my heart became the core of the decisions I needed to make when I was dealing with something that I felt ill-equipped for, if that makes sense. For instance, becoming a parent. I definitely have had to learn as I'm going along. I needed action steps. So, in co creating body breathe awareness, I was tapping in with a higher intelligence through mediation, through meditation, and maybe some mediation, and through meditation, accessing my heart space through breath, using my heart space to move my breath in and out of, to access my body in connection so that I become more creative, more centered, more calm. And in this creation process, I was given 5 heart centered steps. So today we're going to focus on the first one, which is have the feeling. That might be something that many of us have been trained to not have. So we may have a limited vocabulary at this point about feelings and how certain things make us feel. I would suggest that if this is already triggering you as we're talking about feelings, take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your nose, in through your nose, out through your nose or mouth. With every inhalation, you want to work to expand the inside of your body, filling it up with air, and exhaling, relaxing your body where the air will come out. And these moments of triggering, we might even associate our physical senses. So instead of associating our feeling with a descriptive word, which we can do and is also very helpful, we might become more mindful of the physicality that is shifting in our bodies when we start to feel nervous or um, in a state of mm, alert. We might start to notice physical senses that are going on in our bodies. So, as we're going through today's workshop, I encourage you to look at feelings, um, not so much at what the emotion I'm feeling, but the feeling that I'm having. Am I having, am I starting to feel my heart race? Am I having tingling in anywhere in my part of my body? Does something in my gut feel twisted? These physical feelings can be a window to what is going on in the deeper aspect of us. And remembering that the life that we hold at this time is amazing, is miraculous, and is just right. So even saying to yourself at this time, I am just right. I am just right. I am just right. And I am me. I love me. I am connected to me. Um, all signs lead to me having a heartbeat at this time. This heartbeats for me outside of an electrical cord or any man-made power. This is a higher power that breathes me. Good, very good. And yes, 6 months ago, I began this workshop series, and I see that you all are watching it, and I'm just so grateful for you. This this part of my life right now has come from a lot of change, and it's not all felt really good. However, in the midst of a 2020 pandemic, when we were all collecting unemployment, I was led to I was led to this training. I was led to the certification as a mental health first aider. I was led through my own trauma to inform myself of practices that felt good and engaged me in something bigger than my understanding. And that's why I'm here today, because I'm actually sharing the medicine that I've taken. And in that creation, we have the classroom pillars. We have community that creates through our self presence. And we can continue to be centered in that and reminded of who we are at the core of ways that we exist, the choices that we're making. And to review the practice, it looks like this. It's like a rainbow arc. Um, we have the warm-ups. Then we do some sort of tool, which is a bridging activity. And through that, first we ground ourselves and we center ourselves. We find a neutrality, an activated stillness, a conscious choice to find a neutrality in where we are. It's something that I would suggest you start to do when you are not distracted and in the workplace. However, now that I'm more skilled and have more training in this and more practice, I can do this just about anywhere at any time. And I'm so excited to hear about your progress as you dive into this series. What will come of these bridge activities will be activating material. And what I mean by that, it's like more awareness, more compassion with myself and others, um, more more confidence in my ability to navigate um, what might feel sticky. All of this is material that activates in us a awareness that helps us to thrive in our lives and builds a sense of harmony within us, with our internal and our external, what we come in and out of, what we experience. It can become more clear and more connected. And we're like, for me, I feel that my energy is now much better served because I'm serving an energy that is true and clear and well connected, and I'm not wasting my time on issues that drain my energy. And if it needs and requires my attention, I wait until my body is fortified with good food and I'm hydrated and I'm rested. And it's shifted everything in my life. So my goal is to have a space here where no one body or voice comes down in its strength against another. So that we all understand that we're part of a bigger aspect of ourselves. Just to be a little silly and fun, because I like to use my imagination in all this work. On a scale of Prince, how are you feeling today? So you can decide any one or two or three combinations. You might be feeling one, or, you might be feeling one, you might be feeling nine, you might be feeling 10. And as you acknowledge this without judgment, look around and see if there's one thing that can make you more present. It might be to put the phone down. It might be to shut the door. It might be to turn the light off. It might be to take a sip of water. There's one thing right now that can make you more present, more with me right now. As we move into this next year, I'm introducing kind of ground rules for this community. These are shared agreements, gives us all the ability to share the power in this space on this call and after this call. So confidentiality when we share is super important to me. And we'll do that after we end this recording. Um, Everyone has the right to participate or pass. So, of course, this is an open invitation to participate and reflect, or we pass. No big deal. As we move into more confidence in this work, we might have questions. We might want to introduce something that, a new version of something I've introduced, and now you've made it your own. I want to hear about it. I want to actively listen. I want to listen to understand. I'm not listening to anticipate your questions. I'm listening to understand you and hold space for you where I can respect all of us, whether we agree or disagree. And of course, sharing at your own level. We have a saying in this community of teaching artists, we can use two simple words, oops and ouch. I use this with my child quite a bit when I'm not really sure what the disciplinary and action might be, and something is said or something is done, and a simple like, oh, ouch, is enough to put a pause on something that isn't actually moving in either one of us best interest. With that said, we share the airspace. We wait. We 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 wait until another person has whether or not we're going to interject or talk. We wait. We can hold two truths at the same time. Something can be good and feel kind of bad at the same time. Something can be something can feel up and down at the same time. We can be feeling in fear, and also be in fear for someone we love. We can have that paradoxical experience because we're human, and we're multidimensional, which is has a huge responsibility all to itself. And yet, when we have a better understanding of who we are in this world, we can see each other in more of a one situation. So no such thing as is completely safe. As much as I say that I would like this to be a safe space, it really does become an important aspect to make it a brave zone. So when we are doing this work, just remember that showing up at any level is important, is important. And our learning objectives for workshop 1 to cover what is resiliency and why is it so important. Experience what your own regulated nervous system feels like in a neutral, centered state. So, like I've mentioned before, like a house united in aligned impulses and action. Your mind is connected with your body, and in that, you are one, with the higher aspect that is breathing you. We're going to share another creative strategy for self-regulation. We're going to talk about the have the feeling aspect, and we're going to see where we're at with the personal safety plan. So right now, I ask you to scan the room where you are right now seated. If you're driving a car, I would recommend that you can continue to listen, and then come back to this work when you're not driving. But scan the room, see the roof above you, the floor beneath you, physically touch the chair that is holding you or the couch where you're at. Uh, Breathe in and out, scanning the room. You might put your hand on your heart and just say, I am where I am and I am okay. So, yes, right now you're most likely in a safe space. You wrapped your head around coming in tonight. You set an allowance for this time with me tonight. Um, this phrase can be very important to just tell your body, even when your mind might be racing. Like I know, for instance, if my thoughts have just, they're just like, I'm like on a carousel and my thoughts are just going around and around and around. Even when my thoughts are running, I can tell my body that I am where I am, bringing myself into a present moment, and I can say, I am okay. I am okay. Like, I'm okay. I have a roof over my head, a floor beneath me, something to sit on, something to drink. Um, I am okay. And I might even start to name what makes me okay so that my body will begin to ground. So being able to get out of our head, get into our framing, our aspect, helps us to ground and be in the present moment and not get carried away with our stories. So as you sit there with your body scan, this is a little emotional face chart. And this might be something that you saw when you were younger. Personally, I didn't have any of this mindfulness exploration when I was younger. I'm sure there were books with these pictures. Um, However, I feel like a lot of what I've learned over the last 5 years is brand new stuff. So I'm going to give myself grace, as I hope you do too. But maybe you might identify with a look on the face and be able to have a descriptive emotion. You could say, let's see, I feel a bit silly and I want to feel in love. Or I feel surprised and I want to feel happy. Or I feel sad and I want to feel happy. Whatever it is right now, no judgment, just acknowledging it and writing it down. To write it down might feel better because when we actually put pen to paper, we're doing a physical action to release whatever's going on in our minds. The importance of resiliency. So resilience it does not mean invulnerable or unscathed. It is important to note that we should not be expected to bounce back until a safe and structured environment has been restored. It's also possible for children and adults to be resilient and to some degree still experience long-term residual effects of trauma. So there's a lot of ways that we can quote unquote bounce back and we have missed the root cause of whatever might be traumatizing us. So remembering that resilience is about recovery, it's the ability to rest and then step back out. So resilience might mean a lot of different things for many different people. Resilience might mean I'm actually gonna physically step away from my environment right now, and I'm going to find and seek a safer environment, meaning I may not feel good inside the workplace right now, so I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go walk out in nature and I'm gonna go look at the sun for a minute. And when I've had a moment to breathe, to listen to some birds sing, I'll feel in my body a reset and I can step back in or out of the space that I needed to go and take a break from. Um, Challenging times build resilience. Um, in my experience, things might be extremely challenging when I'm first learning something. And as I continue to identify that I'm in a learning space and things are going to probably continue to still be uncomfortable and rough while I'm learning, let's say I'm learning a new language or I'm learning a new skill, or I'm learning how to co-parent, whatever it is, these might feel like challenging times. I know it has felt for me. So even the little micro steps, even those little moments where I maybe not do a major, huge thing, might just be a hand on my heart, reassuring myself that I'm okay and I am loved and I love me. That might be just enough in that moment to feel a sense of resilience. Building resilience expands our capacity. So I know for me and my personal experiences, um, it when I was first trying to get through uh, coming back to work and being a mom of a toddler, well, it took little steps. I would just take some day jobs here and there, and then take longer time between um, until I was in a position where I could no longer take longer time in between, and I needed to take a full-time project. So resilience might have looked more like, well, when I was working, my family was my focus, and I did the work, and I would go to bed, and I wouldn't stay up scrolling on my phone. I would get the right sleep that I needed so that I could have my 36-hour turnaround on the weekend so that I could see my family and start again, at the crack of dawn on Monday. Once I started to do the little bit here and there, the capacity to do more and more did get greater. I felt like that kind of work wasn't necessarily sustainable for me over time as a mom, and challenges will require us to find sideways versions of what resilience might be in our life. However, that's where I want us to still continue to build our personal safety plan in their toolbox because, you know, not every job's going to require a hammer, but it certainly might need a pair of needle nose pliers. And I'm using that as a metaphor for the breathing tools and the grounding tools and all the aspects of the workshop series that I've been sharing with you over the last few months. And remembering that compassion and grace and understanding for me needed to like go hand in hand with my resilience, um, because the compassion allowed me to see not only where I needed to do work within myself to stay healthy and to stay um, more in a state of presence with what was going on in my life, but also it allowed me to hold the capacity for others going through challenging times. So let's get grounded. I really love, we've talked about diaphragmatic breathing. Um, we've talked about diaphragmatic breathing or even breathing. Inhale is shorter than the exhalation. This is called conscious breathing with a count. And Dr. Andrew Weil explains how to do his 4-7-8 breathing technique. So I'm going to play this 2-minute, let's see if it'll play it for me, this 2-minute um, video. Okay, this happened earlier. So we're going to watch the video on YouTube. Here we go. It's coming up.
The 4-7-8 breath that I teach is the most powerful relaxation method that I've discovered. It's very simple, requires no equipment, takes very little time, costs nothing. And it is a practice. It's something that you have to do regularly. So in this technique, you breathe in through your nose quietly to a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 7, and then blow air out through your mouth audibly and forcefully. And you do this for a total of 4 breath cycles. So I'm going to show you what this looks like. and that's all. It's a bit hard for me to come back and talk to you after I do that because this produces a very pleasant altered state of consciousness that I'd rather stay in. You may not get that the first time you try it, but it's a reward of practicing this. And this is a practice. You must do this at least twice a day. So that 4 breath cycles at least twice a day. After a month, if you're comfortable with it, you can increase to 8 breath cycles each time you do it. But that's the absolute maximum. You can do it more frequently than twice a day, but never more than 4 8 breath cycles at one time. It may take 4 to 6 weeks before you notice physiological changes from this. But over time, practicing this will lower heart rate, lower blood pressure, improve digestion, improve circulation. It promotes sleep if you get up in the middle of the night for any reason. It is the most effective anti-anxiety technique that I've found. I've taught it to patients with the most extreme forms of panic disorder who eventually brought that under control just relying on this breathing technique. So please practice it, do it regularly, and I think you'll be very pleased with the results.
All right. Nice. So you'll find on this slide the video link, and you could even copy and paste. Dr. Weil explains how to do his 4-7-8 breathing technique on YouTube. You can find this and make it a practice. So this week, as I said, this month, we're focusing on having the feeling. The heart-centered steps are a 5-step copyrighted program, action plan, however you want to look at it, that has helped me get through most every situation that I'm going through. As long as I consciously bring it to mind, I've been able to manage going through these steps in 45 seconds, or sometimes it's taken at least like a couple sessions of resolution. Um, it just depends on the subject matter. It depends on the relationship you have with the person or the people going through it. Um, Acknowledging that the feeling, again, it may not even be like for me now, I've done enough practice with my physical senses that I know, let's say when I feel tingling on the top of my head, most likely either I'm thinking something that's the truth, or someone has said something in my community space that is the truth. And it's very interesting. I never noticed that about myself, but anytime I have that feeling, I kick in the active listener even more. I'm thinking, ooh, what is this truth being spoken at this time? And in what way is it affecting me? And that's my exercising my curiosity. Ooh, I wonder why I'm having that feeling. So when we have the feeling, then there is curiosity, which allows our mind to get off of a stuck thought or a repeating loop. And it really, it's the ability to get our brain into curiosity mode, which then opens up more possibilities, which might adjust how we see something. And once we have allowed some curiosity, then we can allow all that is for me, meaning, okay, everything that is available for me right now to shift this. What are my tools? What do I have available? And sometimes for me, it's literally no equipment needing. I have my breath. I have my feet on the floor. I have the ability to see things around me and jump right into my 5 4 3 2 1 grounding aspect where I see things, hear things, touch things, smell things, taste things in the 5 4 3 2 1 countdown. I have gone over this in previous workshop sessions. Once I start to get curious and allow things, I'm regulating my energy and I'm moving my energy. You see, emotions are energy in motion. So when we can shift what we're thinking, we're going to shift our emotions, and then we're going to move stuff. And sometimes we have to physically move our bodies to feel the shift. And in the end, it's so important to create a space within ourselves that is completely autonomous and trusts and just breathe love. Just breathe love into every situation because we are all human going through this human experience. So this week, focusing on the feeling. So I again ask you to just check in right now, take some deep breaths. I am feeling, I feel, and I want to feel. I want to feel. You might even say, I want to feel calm right now. Breathe. I want to feel centered right now. Breathe. What do you feel in terms of sensations? Do you feel anything? And you don't have to feel anything. Over time, you might begin to recognize feelings like that from a physical sense. All of this, again, is just bringing us into the present moment. And yes, bringing in that diaphragmatic breathing. So as you're breathing in, and here's another link to go to the guide to ocean breathing that I've put together on my YouTube channel. This is activating material through the 478 breath. We're going to feel a deep centered calm. We might feel even more clear. We're going to access more energy. Excuse me. And with our diaphragmatic breathing, we are doing a rest and digest breathing. Our body already knows how to do it. It does it when we sleep. We can do it when we're awake, and we can generate more energy by expanding ourselves from the inside out. So check out that diaphragmatic breathing and getting to that personal safety plan, the list of ways a person can mentally or physically ensure they remain safe, especially if a topic, exercise, or environment is perceived as potentially dangerous or threatening. So here's some examples of ways we can uh, use tools that coming from ourselves. We can mentally acknowledge our power to find ways to maintain our safety. So I can mentally acknowledge some of the tools that I've learned along the way that are going to help me feel safe in my own house, meaning this vessel, this body that houses my vital organs and houses my soul. Let's mentally acknowledge how powerful I am just by being me, just being a miracle of life. Picturing a peaceful place might be an internal plan. For me, using hypnotherapy and creating a safe space that I could fill out really got me through having a natural childbirth. I went into my safe space. I went into my peaceful place and allowed me to draw in my internal power um, with me and the actual life I was birthing. Relax your body one part at a time. So you might recognize versus where our minds might go to where we're lacking or where we're not, something's not working. We could shift that perspective and perhaps learn over time with practice to find the areas that are feeling good on our body. Oh, my heart is open. Relax into that. As you relax into that space of heart openness, you might feel that your heart is opening and you're feeling your body, your chest might be expanding. You might let it grow. You might feel that openness grow into your shoulders. You could feel your body move. Your arms are feeling a little bit looser. Your legs can become uncrossed. Allowing that relaxation, one part, body part at a time to grow, using your breath and your focus could be a very important tool for your personal safety. Also might be creating a personal mantra or a statement of assurance and repeating mentally, verbally, or in writing. So you could even just say, like the mantra that we used earlier, I am where I am and I am okay. I am where I am and I am okay. You might say, I am loved. I am loved. I am connected. I am where I am and I am okay. I am loved. I am connected. You know, whatever it is, you might have one or two main ones. I'm the powerful self of me. I'm the power of me. I choose love. I choose peace. I choose calm. I choose nature. I choose. Uh, these are aspects of us that we can draw upon that don't need and require any additional equipment. This is internal power. We also might add to our personal safety plan external plans like noting where the exits are. You could use breaks, dance breaks, stress balls, drinking cold water, eating a piece of chocolate, listening to music. These all might be ways that we can access calm and neutrality and centeredness using objects around us and outside of us. So, your heart work this week, if you have not done this already, write a love letter to yourself from your inner wise self. Yeah. Dear Amelia, from your inner wise self, I have seen you over the last few years, and I am in awe of your X, Y, and Z. When I think of how far we have come and how much we have put into practice for our daily peace and calm, I see all this amazing whatever. Like I'm trying to write this off the top of my head, but write that love letter to ourselves. Some big some big shift for me in my teacher artist training was in community reflection. And someone said the best way that I could actually serve my community was to serve myself first, to remember that I cannot be the best version of myself to those around me if I'm not treating myself like the best version of myself that I need to be. And meaning I need to rest, I need to eat, I need to drink, I need nature, I need movement. I need all to do all those things. And if I haven't, I may not be the best version of myself, and that's okay. That just means that what I have maybe where my vulnerability or my insecurities lie, that might come up. Then we can start using our emotions as actual signals that nothing is wrong. I'm just off my center. I've stepped out of my neutrality, and I can become unashamed of how I feel. I can become empowered with knowing that I can make some shifts and return back to my core, return back to who I am, and I am okay. And I thank you for being you. Thank you for being exactly who you are at this time. Thank you. I'm just going to focus for a minute on these last few slides. Please remember this beautiful initiative behind the scenes. They're providing financial assistance to the entertainment technology professionals in need due to serious illness or injury. Let's not leave our colleagues in the dark. Remember that there is a way. There is a way for us to seek the light, find the light, use the light, and be the light. These resources are here for us. Use them. Look out for each other. Help us all to stay safe. We're in this together, in unity and in solidarity. And with that said, my beautiful friends, I'm going to close tonight. I want to thank you for being here, either live on the call or on the replay. And please just remember, you're not alone. I love you. Be well.